The Menglianggu Campaign was a campaign fought between the nationalists and the communists during the Chinese Civil War in the post-World War II era, and resulted in communist victory. The campaign was later used by the communists as a specific battle example in their military science and history, as well as a propaganda piece. The battle mainly took place in Menglianggu of Linyi region in Shandong province. Prelude. From March 1947, nationalists abandoned their original plan of all-out assault on every communist position. Instead, they adjusted their strategy to a much more realistic one, concentrating on attacking the communists in northern Shanxi and Shandong. In the Shandong theater of war, Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek named Gu Jutong, the commander-in-chief of the National Revolutionary Army, as the commander-in-chief at the front line, setting up his headquarters in Zhuzhou. Gu Jutong had 24 army-sized reorganized divisions totaling more than 60 division-sized reorganized brigades at his command, totaling 450,000-plus troops. Out of the 450,000-plus troops, over 330,000-plus in 17 army-sized reorganized divisions totaling more than 43 division-sized reorganized brigades were deployed on the first line, organized into 3 corpses, the I, 2nd, 3rd Corps, spearheaded by the 3 crack units of the nationalist forces. 11th Reorganized Division, the 74th Reorganized Division and the 5th Army. Out of the 3 corpses, the 1st Corps commanded by Tang En-bo was the largest and strongest of all, with near 200,000 troops in 8 army-sized reorganized divisions totaling more than 20 division-sized reorganized brigades, and the 1st Corps was tasked with main assaults on the communists. From late March to mid-April 1947, nationalists succeeded taking control of the regions along the section of Jinpu Railway from Zhuzhou to Jinan, and the entire southern Shandong region. The overconfident nationalists subsequently attacked the mountainous region in central Shandong in late April 1947 but suffered a setback for their carelessness in Tian Menglianggu Campaign, losing over 24,000 troops. However, such setback was rather minor that it could be ignored, a mere 5% loss out of the total force. The nationalists continued their original plan of push the arc-shaped front line continuously deeper into central Shandong, and force the local communist force, the East China Field Army, into a decisive battle in which the communist would be annihilated, or the communists would be forced to cross the Yellow River to flee north if they chose not to engage in such a battle. The nationalist First Corps would attack toward Yishui and Tanbu regions, and then join forces with the nationalist 2 and 3 corpses to attack northward and eastward, destroying the communist base in Shandong. 5 nationalist armies were deployed in the region bordered by the Qingdao, Jinan Railway, Jinpu Railway and Tian in the south to support the 3 nationalist corpses, and another 2 nationalist army-sized reorganized divisions were deployed in Yi County and Xiaozhuang respectively as reserves. Order of battle. The nationalists totaled 3 corps with more than 600,000 troops while the communists totaled 10 columns near 200,000 troops. Nationalist order of battle: the 5th Army, the 7th Army, the army-sized 11th Reorganized Division, the army-sized 20th Reorganized Division, the army-sized 25th Reorganized Division, the army-sized 48th Reorganized Division, the army-sized 65th Reorganized Division, the army-sized 74th Reorganized Division, the division-sized 51st Reorganized Brigade, the division-sized 57th Reorganized Brigade, the division-sized 58th Reorganized Brigade, the army-sized 83rd Reorganized Division. Other nationalist units mobilized. Communist order of battle: the 1st column of the East China Field Army, the 2nd column of the East China Field Army, the 3rd column of the East China Field Army, the 4th column of the East China Field Army, the 6th column of the East China Field Army, the 7th column of the East China Field Army, the 8th Column of the East China Field Army, the 9th Column of the East China Field Army, the 10th Column of the East China Field Army, the Specialized Column of East China Field Army. Other Communist local garrison units. Commanders. Commanders from nationalist side included Supreme Commander, Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek, Frontline Commander-in-Chief, Gujutong Corps Commander-in-Chief, Tangenbo Hulian, Commander of the 11th Reorganized Division Huang Baitao, Commander of the 25th Reorganized Division Zhang Lingfu, Commander of the 74th Reorganized Division Li Tianxia, Commander of the 83rd Reorganized Division. Commanders from Communist side included Chen Yi, Commander-in-Chief and Commissar of the East China Field Army, Su Yu, Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the East China Field Army, the actual architect of the campaign Tan Zhenlin, Deputy Commissar of the East China Field Army Wang Bicheng, Commander-in-Chief of the 6th Column of the East China Field Army. Strategies. The strategies of both sides had been changed from their original versions as the battles progressed. Nationalist strategy. After the destruction of the entire 72nd Reorganized Division in late April 1947 in the Tianmengying Campaign, nationalists became very cautious and concentrated their forces in their movements afterward. This new tactic resulted from the painful experience learned earlier was so successful that the communist plan of defeating the nationalist offensive in Shandong by first destroying a portion of the nationalist force in the center of the front line could no longer be realized. On May 4, 1947, Communist High Command radioed the East China Field Army that since it was impossible to fight large nationalist formations because the nationalists had concentrated their forces, the current tactic of waiting for an appropriate opportunity was very good. As long as there was the patient, there would always be the opportunity to annihilate the enemy. 2 days later, the Communist High Command once again radioed the East China Field Army on May 6 to instruct the local communists on several important points. Never be impatient and never separate the concentrated forces, because as long as the concentrated force are ready to be mobilized, there would always be the opportunity to destroy the enemy. According to the Communist High Command, the local communist commanders redeployed their forces in early May 1947 by withdrew their main force eastward to the region to the east of Leiwu in Xinte, while the Communist 2nd and 7th Columns originally planned to deploy to central China were redeployed to withdrew to Du County, and the Communist 6th Column withdrew to Pingyi in southern Shandong. The Communists were waiting to ambush the nationalist at the proper moment. Chiang Kai-shek had erroneously believed that the Communist retreat was a sign of weakness and they were no longer able to fight any decisive battles. So on May 10, he gave the order to pursue the enemy for eradication. Gujutong subsequently ordered the 3 nationalist corps under his command to give a chase toward Boshan and Yishui. Tangenbo, the commander-in-chief of the Nationalist First Corps at the right flank, abandoned the previously proven tactics of prudent push, and acted on his own without coordinate with the Nationalist Second Corps and Third Corps by ordering the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division to advance toward Tanbu on May 11 from Peach Village and Duo Village, in an attempt to take control of the region along the highway from Yishui to Mengyin, to protect the flanks of the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division. Tangenbo ordered the Nationalist 7th Army and 48th Reorganized Division to advance toward Yishui in the north, and the Nationalist 65th Reorganized Division to guard Mengyin. The resulting rushing had dangerously overexposed the advancing nationalist units. Communist strategy. On May 11, Communists learned that the Nationalist 5th Army and 48th Reorganized Division had taken regions including Mia family's Bent and Border Lake by venturing out from Riverine Sun, and was advancing toward Yishui, thus was dangerously exposed. The Communists decided to ambush these nationalist units and, if possible, also ambush the nationalist reinforcement as well. After the order was already given, new intelligence revealed Tang Enbo's plan in that the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division was advancing toward Tanbu. Communist commanders of the East China Field Army immediately began to analyze the situation and decided that it would be much better to first annihilate the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division because it was most dangerously exposed, and the gap between it and other nationalist units were the greatest, so it was easier to surround and destroy it. The commander of the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division, Zhang Lingfu, was considered by many other nationalist commanders as arrogant because he was a favorite to Chiang Kai-shek and was not on good terms with them, especially with Li Tianxia, the commander of the 83rd Reorganized Division. Furthermore, Zhang Lingfu's relationship with his direct superior Tang Enbo was not very smooth either, so the Communists predicted that if the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division was under attack, other nationalist commanders would not be too enthusiastic in saving it. The rugged terrain would limit the mobility of the mechanized nationalist force, while Communists could take the geographical advantages to hide and move their troops. The Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division was one of the top 5 crack unit of the nationalist force, and once it was completely destroyed, it would be a huge psychological blow to the nationalist morale and good propaganda piece for the Communists. Another political reason to destroy the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division was that its commander, Zhang Lingfu, had openly proclaimed his goal many times to feed Chen Yi to fish by driving Chen Yi and his followers into the East China Sea. The Communists were therefore determined to destroy their nemesis. After the Communists had changed their mind on their targets, they immediately ordered a redeployment of their forces in the morning of May 12. They would concentrate at least a total of 5 columns to destroy the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division in the region bordered by Menglianggu Mountains in the north and Tanbu in the south. Communist forces that were on their eastward march were ordered to immediately march in the opposite direction to the east of Mengyim for new tasks. Communist 1st, 4th, 6th, 8th, 9th and the specialized columns were tasked to attack the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division, while the Communist 2nd, 3rd, 7th, 10th columns, and local communist militias would be tasked to prevent nationalist units including Nationalist 5th and 7th Army, 11th, 25th, 48th, 65th, 83rd Reorganized Divisions from reinforcing the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division by blocking them in the regions including Xintai, Leiwu, Linyi, Lintei and Riverine Sun regions. 74th Reorganized Division besieged. On May 11, the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division began the push northward from Duo Village under the cover of Nationalist 25th and 83rd Reorganized Divisions, and by May 13, it succeeded in taking regions including Yang Family's Camp, Buddhist Mountain Cape and Horse Herding Pound, and planned to take Tanbu on May 14. At the dusk of May 13, the High Command of Communist East China Field Army ordered the Communist 1st Column and 8th Column to take advantage of the local terrain and penetrate deep behind the enemy to sever the links between the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division and other nationalist units nearby. In the evening of May 13, 9:47, the Communist 1st Column and 8th Column deployed a portion of their forces in front of the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division for blocking actions, while the main forces outflanked the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division and penetrated into the Nationalist line as planned. The 3rd Division of the Communist 1st Column succeeded in taking Cal Village and Highland to the north of the village, threatened Mengyin, and formed a defense position to block Nationalist 65th Reorganized Division in the future to prevent it from reinforce the Nationalist 74th. reorganized division. The main force of the Communist First Column succeeded in taking strategic positions including Yellow Dipper Peak Mountain, Yao Mountain, Celestial Horse Mountain, and Border Plaque, severed the link between the Nationalist 74th and 25th Reorganized Divisions. The Nationalist 25th Reorganized Division attempted to break through, but its attempt was beaten back by the stubborn enemy, and the Nationalist 25th Reorganized Division was forced to withdraw back to Peach Village to regroup after suffering heavy casualties. The Communist 8th Column divided its force into two portions, with a portion of the force taking strategic positions including Horizontal Mountain, Old Cat's Nest to the southeast of Menglianggu Mountains, while the main force taking strategic positions including Peach Blossom Mountain, Nose Mountain, and the Mountain of Heap of Rocks, thus successfully severed the link between the Nationalist 74th and 83rd Reorganized Divisions as planned. Meanwhile, the Communist 4th and 9th Column attacked the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division head-on, successfully checked the Nationalist advance by taking regions including Yellow Deer Camp, Buddhist Mountain Cape, Horse Herding Pound, Sioux Family's Hotel. The Communist 6th Column, operating behind the enemy line in southern Shandong, reached regions of Guansang and White Wharf to the southwest of Duo Village from Copperstone region in the morning of May 14, after a forced march, up to the point at which the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division was first attacked by the enemy in the evening of May 13. The Nationalists still did not realize how grave the situation was going to be, and the Nationalist commanders were still prepared to carry out their original plan of taking Tanbu on the next day. On May 12, Tang Enbo ordered Major General Li Tianxia, the commander of the Nationalist Army-sized reorganized 83rd Division, to send out a regiment to reinforce Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division, probing the enemy's weakness while performing its mission. MG Lee sent out the 57th Regiment of the reorganized 19th Brigade of the reorganized 83rd Division, led by the regimental commander Colonel Luo Wenlang, to take Peach Blossom Mountain, 5 kilometers to the southeast of Menglianggu. However, the Nationalist reinforcement was ambushed by the enemy, with the entire vanguard of the regiment being completely wiped out on May 12, with the battalion commander Major Wang Shouheng being killed in action. The next day, the rest of the 57th Regiment of the reorganized 19th Brigade of the reorganized 83rd Division was wiped out by the enemy after being cutting off from the rear, and the regimental commander Colonel Luo Wenlang being captured alive by the enemy. The failure of taking Peach Blossom Mountain, 5 kilometers to the southeast of Menglianggu, meant that the link between the Nationalist reorganized 74th Division and its most probable reinforcement had been severed. After Nationalist commanders learned on May 14 that Nationalist strongholds including Celestial Horse Mountain, Horse Herding Pound, and the Mountain of Heap of Rocks had fallen into the enemy hands, they became aware that the enemy was planning to surround and destroy the 74th Reorganized Division, which subsequently retreated toward Menglianggu Mountains and Duo Village. The Communists chased after the Nationalists retreating southward, with the Communist 4th Column and 9th Column in the front, and after a night of battle they succeeded in taking the region along Tang family's valley and Zhao family's city. At dawn of May 15, Duo Village, the last Nationalist stronghold, had fallen into the hands of Communist 6th Column. After fierce battle in the Menglianggu and Lu Mountains, the Communist 8th Column succeeded in taking 10,000 Springs Mountain, thus linked up with Communist 1st Column and 6th Column. By the end of May 15, the Communist 1st, 6th and 8th Columns had succeeded in achieving their objective of completely cutting off the Nationalist 74th Reorganized Division, which was totally surrounded just like the Communists had planned.